another controversial topic that's in the media right now is the entire Arizona immigration law. And if you remember, I did a video on YouTube about this about a month ago, and pretty much my stance on it was that the way the law was executed and how they were trying to carry it out, I had a big problem with it, because you're really going to, start tampering with people's civil rights. And it, to me, it wasn't the illegal immigrants themselves that had, because, of course I agree, if you're going to come into this country, you should do it legally and do it just like everyone else does. But my thing is like, I don't want to see this law come into effect and it affects like actual legitimate legal U.S. citizens. And pretty much from what I gather from the entire, from the law and stuff like that, they could easily like discriminate against people's race, or they can go by appearance alone. And, who carries around their papers? Who carries around, like, documents and stuff like that? It's just ridiculous. So I'm guessing that they're going to be overturning this.
Well, I did read part of the federal ruling that come down, and a lot of, the things that I've seen that come out of that, it was expected. I mean, there were just certain things in there that they tried to rewrite some of the federal law. Now, I agree that the federal law needs some work. I agree, it absolutely does. However, the state should have known just by constitutional law that you just can't do that.
Right.
They should have been, and a lot of people, I think, wanted to blame I did read a couple of articles where they were blaming the muscle of the Obama administration. Well, I don't really think, and they're wanting to blame a lot of that on the Democrat or Republican, pointing fingers back and forth across the aisle, but that isn't really a Democrat or Republican issue. That is kind of a constitutional law issue. And, whether you're for it or against it, right or wrong, there are certain things written in that law that, a high school graduate that had taken a basic government class could have said, that ain't going to work.
Right. And see, that's my biggest thing is, like, is it constitutional? Because, like I mentioned just a second ago, like, I think you're dealing with people's civil rights, basic civil rights, and, like you said, just constitutional rights as well. So I'm really interested in seeing where this debate leads us and what they're going to actually do about this situation, because there's no denying it, that this is an issue that needs to be addressed. Like, this is something, because to me, like I said, like I'm all for securing the borders and stuff like that, but still at the same time, I'm all for people's rights too, and the way I see it though, like, you can't go to any other country. You can't go to any other country and enter illegally. You have to have papers. You got to have documents. You have to have everything in order before you enter anyone else's country. Just to even visit, let alone like actually move into that country and live,
right.
And reside within that country. So I agree. I can see both sides of the issue, but that legislation will just give people that already have like a racist agenda, that would give them like leeway, that would give them an open invitation to discriminate against people based on race and appearance.
Yeah.
So
an interesting thing that I had seen, which is somewhat of the business as usual, and I believe Sheriff Joe, the one that everybody's talked about, the sheriff there in Arizona that does the chain gangs and stuff. I don't see why it is so difficult upon every person's arrest. If you are arrested by the police, business as usual. Follow your laws you got on the books. Business as usual. If they're arrested, you fingerprint them and start identifying everybody by the fingerprints. And if it's determined that, while in the process of doing your identification that this person is an illegal alien, then I think at that point the ICE, the Immigration Custom Enforcement Agency, at that point needs to get involved. And when either the due process is complete or whatever, ship them out of the country. You know, if you're breaking the laws and you're found guilty of breaking the laws under the laws that we have currently and have been operating by, and then it's like, okay, and you're here illegally. Well, guess what? You're out. You know,
right.
Why don't we do it that way? But I know for a fact that there's a lot of misdemeanor violations, repeated misdemeanor violations, that, yeah, you might be able to identify this person in the course of due process of law and say, oh, yeah, they're an illegal immigrant, but ICE won't do anything about it. They're like, yeah, so?
Right. Well, I have, I'm going to touch on this subject real quick, and then we're going to go to a song real quick. What do you feel on the issue of natural birth rights? And what I mean by that is, do you feel that is legitimate for an illegal alien to come into the United States and have a child, and that child be like considered a natural born citizen? How do you feel about that?
Well, that is some, pretty standard, constitutional law there. I mean,
yeah.
It's been on the books for a long, long time. You're born on the United States soil. You are here on the United States soil. You're a U.S. citizen. And, I have absolutely no problem with that. I think that is absolutely correct. However,
I agree with you, but I don't fault the children. But I think like you can't. So I was watching the Young Turks. That's a pretty famous channel, like really popular channel on YouTube, and they were talking about this issue yesterday in yesterday's broadcast, where I guess there are people that are trying to get a constitutional amendment or something put into place to where that won't occur in the future. But to me, it's not. To me, you're looking at the wrong issue. It's not the children that are being born into the country that you need to, do away with. It's the whole securing of the borders in the first place.
Right.
If you secure the border and you make sure everything, people,
right.
can't get in here, you wouldn't have to worry about that issue. That's where the issue starts.
And it's not illegal to possess a dual citizenship. They may have to rewrite, I think, some of the citizenship laws where, if you're born on the United States soil, by all means, you're a United States citizen. However, and I think where the biggest problem is looking at with this type of situation, they're seeing that, either mom or dad, one of the two, is an illegal immigrant, and the other one is an American citizen, and then you have the child. But if they ship one or the other off, then they're splitting the family up. That's one of the biggest heated things. And then, well, what if both parents are illegal immigrants? Well, in my opinion, and according to a lot of the law, the parent is responsible for the child. Therefore, if, they're deported, don't split the family up, send the child with them. But then again, you're expelling a U.S. citizen from the United States, so there you're going to run into a whole new legal battle in that direction as well.
Right. Well, like I said, this is going to be an issue that's going to be in the news. It's going to be in the news for a while. This is not an issue that's been, it didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to be something that's going to be resolved overnight. So I'm really...
And have you read also where a lot of the political campaigns that's going on right now
are going to be centered on that? Yeah.
Well, no, I read one thing where the Republicans are kind of sitting back going, this is a really large and fast-growing population of people. These are going to be potential voters here. Let's not rock the boat yet. Everybody's, I think, right now sitting back, just taking a back seat and really taking it easy on it because they don't know what to do.